I'm Ruth at TS at Samuel. I'm a culture reporter at HuffPost, and I'll be your moderator this evening. So let's hop right into it. So Phoebe, as we've discussed, the show was several years in the making for you.
Let's introduce everyone first.
Oh, bet. Okay, got it. You got it. Okay, so showrunner.
Icebreakers? I'm sorry. I'm
crying.
really
Do you wanna-
that boss who's like, let's do icebreakers.
Should we do
your
like a
dream
fun
vacation.
fact? No.
Yeah, let's do a fun fact.
Also, having a dog is not a fun fact.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with you. Just want to say that right now. Don't be, I have a dog. What does that have to do with you?
Yeah.
So, all right. Phoebe Robinson, playing Phoebe Hill.
Hi. That's me up there. Lightly photoshopped, which I appreciate. From Ohio. Fun fact is I've seen the band U2 19 times.
By choice?
Is by choice, yes. They're my favorite band. Ruth.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Bono and I are friends. You know, he sends me flowers for my birthday. That's cute.
Oh, so you got it like that.
I got it like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Right.
Done.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jordan Carlos. I play Jaden, Phoebe's older brother. Oh my gosh, fun fact about me. What's fun about me? I recently swam in the East River, everybody. And I'm still here. It actually makes you stronger.
Yeah.
I have the strength of 10,000 cobras now. Yeah.
His sperm count has increased hugely. Don't ask how I know.
Well, on that note, seeing how I'm sitting next to someone who swam in the East River, don't know what that says for this room. Are we safe? I don't know. But no, I'm Nneka Okafor, and I play Jessie Hill.
Yes.
Married to this guy on the show, Phoebe's sister-in-law. Fun fact about me. I was on The Price is Right when I was in college many moons ago. Ooh. And yes, with the original Bob Barker. And yes, I have a signed headshot of Bob in my parents' basement.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The whole panel.
The skinny microphone is still on a diet, in case you were wondering.
Did you win?
I did not bet $1. I should have.
Oh.
I got a signed headshot of knives that live in my parents' garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that fun fact, but hey, y'all, hey, I'm Takara Cash.
Yes.
Woo! Thank you. I play Malika on the show Phoebe's BFF Forever and podcast producer. And fun fact about me, I am a really good roller skater, y'all. I've been roller skating since I was like 3 years old, and like I be skating backwards and everything. So
I love
So
it.
cute.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Moses Storm. I play Michael on the show, and
Yes.
my parents aren't clapping, but okay.
Stop it, Moses.
I'm from Ohio, and a fun fact about me that's only fun if you're on the Upper East Side is I was circumcised twice.
Wow.
That is a horrible fact that you could have kept to
It was the
yourself.
rabbi's first time doing it, and he was very nervous, so he had too much ceremonial wine. The whole panel's just going to become this. But yeah, so we had to, it's Ohio, so there's not like temples in every corner. So they had to drive 4.5
don't be
hours.
slamming Ohio. You got two other Ohioans up here.
Ohio, yeah.
Well, I mean, well,
How
all
many
right, I'm
Jews
not going to
have
rep
you
it
met
that
in
hard. I ain't going to
Ohio?
rep it that hard.
It's not. We're here for a reason and not there.
I'm learning so much tonight. It's unbelievable.
I can't wait to show you my circumcision video.
I've seen it. It's great.
Like, run it back.
I'm Jonathan Groff.
Yes.
Showrunner. Our cast is almost as many Ohio people as there are Ohio presidents. Fun fact: there's 8 presidents from Ohio, I believe.
That's great.
Okay. Jonathan Groff is my name, and that is also the name of a much more famous and delightful, handsome actor named Jonathan Groff. And yes, I do get his mail. In fact, I once got an invitation to the Costume Institute Met Gala to be Anna Wintour's guest. And my wife, who's here and is lovely, was like, well, it could be for you. Can we go? And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. So anyway, he's actually lovely, delightful person. And so I'm here.
Let's bring him out now.
He's here.
You'll be back.
Hamilton?
Well, I love that. I learned so much, maybe a little too much.
Too much.
But,
That's fair.
blessed. Anyway, so let's hop into it. So, Phoebe, we know that the show was several years in the making. What does it mean to you to kind of have this come to fruition? And what was it like having the conversation with Jonathan? How did you two meet?
It's such a cute story. We met and someone went. It's cute to me, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. No, we met in 2019 after I launched my production company, Tiny Reparations, with ABC Signature, and we met on FaceTime. And, you know, at first I was like, I don't know, I really wanted like a black woman to be the showrunner. I was like really set on that. And Jenny Fritz, who's over at the studio, my agent Tim Phillips, were like, you're gonna love Jonathan, just meet with him. And of course I did. We were both like nerds and we just clicked right away. And we worked on the show for 3 years to get it to where it is now. And it's really exciting. The gray hairs are coming in. I am looking like Frederick Douglass, and it's cute.
Not Frederick. Not Frederick.
Freddie Doug, shout out on the side. And but I'm really what'd you say?
Beautiful anyway.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. What's your name? Amaryllis. Wow, that's a gorgeous name. Wait, how old are you?
I turned 12 May 24th.
Come on.
She turned 12 May 20. Oh my God! You should not be watching this show.
Oh yeah, that part.
Someone escort her out.
Let's get one of the world's oldest security guards that works here to please escort you out. You brought a backpack? That's scary. Those are my parents. Guys, get it off my parents.
But yeah, I'm so excited and I love this cast so much and I'm so exhausted because it's like birthing a baby. I imagine it's similar to that. I don't have kids. It's not. Anyway, it's just special and I love all these people on the stage and it's great. It's great. Can I touch your knee?
Permission to touch, granted, yes.
But I love that. We love to see it. And I think something I really appreciate about your character is just her sort of multifacetedness, right? We have her older brother who's just like put together, you know, the Barack to the Michelle, very annoying in that way, but you know.
Wow,
but then
okay.
there's Phoebe, hold on, we gonna get to you. But then there's Phoebe who's very secure in herself, right?
Yeah.
And so what are some of the similarities and differences between TV Phoebe and you in real life?
I think some of the similarities is the confidence and the sense of humor. I like to connect with people. I like to be a ball of sunshine until I get cranky and then I need to take a nap. And then when I come back to life, I'm sweet again. I think some of the differences, TV Phoebe is certainly messier than I am, which is fun to play. And I got my finances together and she still does not and doesn't really seem to be in that big of a hurry to do it. She's not stressed at all. But yeah, I think there's a lot of me in this character and vice versa.
And how much of episode 1 is inspired by true events, just out of curiosity?
I did not smash, anyone on my brother's rivals team because they were all like, I don't know, they're pretty like old and not attractive, right, PJ?
We have some photos of them right now.
But lots of people have had to use emergency contraception, and I'm one of those. She's 12. Why are you here?
You don't want to learn it in these
This
streets.
is easily the youngest person that's ever been on the Upper East Side. Everyone's in their late 900s up here.
But I think, I'm a podcaster like I was on the show. And so I think there's a lot of it, but I think there's also a lot of it that we thought would just be a fun way to kick off sort of her maturation. I've never gotten in my brother's way in that way. So we're still good. He's here. He's in the audience wearing a sweater vest. I could see a little Argyle sweater vest anywhere. I know it's him. And yeah.
I love that.
And he's so cute.
I love that. And so now Jordan is Phoebe's brother.
Oh boy.
David.
Yes, go on.
We're stark contrast to her character, right? And so, what was it like for you to step into this role? And is it your first regular series role? And what preparation did that entail, apart from the Barack impression?
It's my second series regular role, but it had been a long time since I'd been one.
Yeah.
But this, stepping into this was just like, It was simple, really, because I've known Phoebe for so long. And I think about this, I was just thinking about this today. I was like, we did a show together at like Appalachian State. Do you remember that? And like, yes. And we took a drive. I drove you back to the airport or something like that. And you were just talking about everything that you had going on. And it was so interesting and so cool. And it was just a beautiful drive. And I was like, God, like, I've just hung out with this person for hours. And I just really enjoy their company. And so I knew that, like, you know, hopefully one day, like, this is when, like, Two Dope Queens was, like, popping off, and I was like, I'm not a dope queen, but maybe one day there'll be a place for a little dope prince, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what, like...
That's your DJ name.
Yeah, that's my DJ name. And, like, whenever, like, she would invite me to come, like, do Two Dope Queens, and, like, when they did their special on HBO, I had a small part in, like, at the beginning of it, and it was just, like, it was just a joy. And I was like, I know it will be when I get the opportunity to just, like, you know, to work with her, to collab, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Jordan.
That's how I feel inside, everybody, okay?
It's true. We've known each other like 13 years.
13
it's
years.
a long time.
Yeah.
So the brother-sister thing just happened very easily. It's very natch.
Very natch, yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I know we talked backstage about the fact that, you know, Phoebe was divulging all of the details of her debauchery to her older brother. And, you know, I'm curious about the relationship you have with each of your siblings and how close it is or how different it is.
Oh, you mean when, okay, so yes, she as you saw, tells me about the state of her,
Vagine.
yes, I have no problem saying that. And so,
Say it.
Say the words, vagine. Okay, so she says that. I was trying to find like the medical term, like the uterus. Okay, so
crying.
so anyway, sorry.
So disgusting.
So in that way, my sisters have done that to me before. My sister is a free spirit. She's done that to me before, and I was like, I don't want to hear any of this. And I thought, like, in that moment, it was just so strange to have that echoed, like, on the show. And, like, it wasn't my suggestion, but it was there. So I've kind of, like, lived through these things with a sister that lives out loud. So I have a sister that lives out loud.
Yes.
I've got a TV sister that lives out loud. So
Yes.
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Because I was like, ooh, I would not tell my older brother. I know that. But on the show, we see Jaden and Jesse. You are all kind of the purported, you know, Barack and Michelle, you know, the bougie blacks, the uppity ones, TM. That, you know, I aspire to, but absolutely despise at the same time.
Okay, that's
You know,
fair.
the spoken word was a lot. Y'all were doing a lot with that. But at the same time, you all mutually love and support your sister-in-law, right? So,
Yes.
Nneka, what can we expect to see from the evolution of their relationship, their marriage, but also your relationship to your sister-in-law on the show?
That is a great question. You know, one great thing about our show is that there are just so many different voices and perspectives and how we live and how our relationships are to one another. And I think it's fun to kind of get different perspectives on things, and especially from Phoebe's voice and Jordan's voice as Jaden, and with me as Jesse. Like, one thing you can expect is, like, what you see isn't necessarily always as wrote. There's so many dynamic sides to Jesse and our relationship to Phoebe. You know, it's like a prism, really, of so many different types of feelings and love and support, and it looks so many different ways. And I think it all comes from just the love that they have as a family.
Yeah, I love that.
Nneka, you are giving me just like, you need to create like a black goop, like bloop. I would buy one.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
You know, like,
I
you
have a
just say the
candle,
word
actually, a candle.
Yes, like if you like describe it like a moisturizer with Prism, I would buy it.
Prism, coming out fall
Yeah.
2023.
My card right now.
$3,000.
Add to cart.
I love that. And I know Phoebe and I have talked about just the importance of having a cast of friends and just how integral they are to your coming of age. And so, of course, no show is complete without the friends, right? We have Takara, who's the ride or die, Moses' character, who plays the white boy that's just there.
I'm just here.
Perfect description.
We appreciate it, but sometimes
As
I'm like,
pitched.
why do y'all say the things you say? Just very out of pocket.
I
But
don't
we
know.
love it,
It's
you
a
know?
lot of like it's probably 100 years of unchecked wealth and too much confidence.
No, because when your character was like, I can lay your edges and hail a taxi, I said, whoever wrote that under the jail immediately right now. I was like, I don't know.
wrote that. I'm
you
so
did?
sorry. Yes.
I didn't know whether to like
It's
applaud
funny.
or I laughed, and then I was like, wait. Should I be laughing? Hold on.
Right.
Why am I impressed?
I know, a
Why
lot-
should I be
Always
impressed?
okay to laugh.
I was like, hold
A
on.
lot of the lines that Moses delivers, they're so funny and under the radar, and he delivers it like it's like before the devil knows you're dead, and you're like, oh shit,
Right.
that was really
Right.
good. Like,
I'm also going to say, as one of the people who helps to write it, all of our cast has tremendous improv abilities, and a fair number of things you see are things that just come off the dome from these really, really funny people. Pretty cool. Yeah, so a lot of good writers were proud of the writing, but
Yeah.
these guys really throw in just funny stuff all the time.
Absolutely. I love that. And I saw so many parallels between your characters and the people in my lives that have made me. So Takara, my question is like, tell us a little bit more about your character, Malika, and what it was like pivoting from your background in theater, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your background in theater to television.
Yes. So Malika, who I mentioned plays her BFF and podcast producer, Malika is that friend who she will go over and beyond the moon for you, but she'll also tell you like it is. You know, she'll get you gathered real quick with love, and then give you a hug and be like, let's go get a drink, right? Yeah, and it's just, that is such a relatable place for me to be in, because I have a best friend who I've had to be like, girl, you being a little team too much. Yes, but I love you so much. Love you so hard. So that was a really easy thing for me to fall into with Malika. And it's so fun being in kind of this little triad of friends with Phoebe and Moses, because, I mean, the dynamic is so cray with you know how you said, he's the white boy who's just there. That's how Malika views him. She's like, why are you here?
Right, all the time. Always
Most
trying to
people
match.
in my life just say, hey, you're just here. And I'm like, Mom, Dad, stop saying that.
And that part. See what I'm saying? And it's really, really fun to, there's this unrequited
Yes.
crush
Always trying
situation
to match.
going
Always.
on with this guy. And it's just a blast to play that with Moses and be the best friend here. I kind of feel like the point on the triangle that goes, y'all, y'all, everybody pay attention. Let's everybody focus. But yeah, and you asked the second part of your question. Can you remind me?
Yeah, the pivot from theater to television. What was
Yes.
the hardest part, or some of the parallels, or something that you had to adapt to?
Yes. Ooh, excellent question. So, theater background, as NECA can also tell you, because we both have a theater background, and we bonded a lot during this process, being like, girl, what's your process for this? Because, it can't be like it is for plays.
We love to prepare.
And I just had to approach it completely differently. We're very tied to script in theater, because theater is the playwright's medium, whereas, the film and TV is the director and actor's medium. So, a lot of it was just kind of letting my guard down and trying to be a little bit more relaxed and not so tied to script. And I mean, I'm working with some comic geniuses here between Phoebe and Moses and Jordan, and you two, you be having your moments. I'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like, do you do stand up? And you didn't let nobody know?
This is the big reveal, you guys.
I learn so much from them. I really do. My improv. It's been a challenge, a beautiful challenge, getting my improv chops up and learning how to just let loose and lean into the beautiful writing and the comedic structure of what we're doing. And most days, I just feel like we're all just trying to make each other laugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say that both NECA and Takara, because they're both very well-trained stage actors, just raise the level on set, and you're like, I better get my lines down cold, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and understand what was going on in the scene and everything like that, because they came to play. And it was this wonderful kind of countermeasure, I think, to just having a bunch of goofballs around, is just having people that have walked, what do you call these? The planks, what do you call them? When you walk?
Pirate chop.
Walk the I'm sorry. Walk the boards. Walk the boards. You see, I don't know anything about theater. I don't
Where
know.
is this going, Jordan?
Walking the boards. They know they're leaving me for dead, but it's called
I'm with you,
Walking the
Jordan. I'm
Boards.
where you at.
Oh my God! One's been on Broadway, and then like the other one's like West End. You know, they were just telling us these things. They're like, when I won the Grace Kelly Award, I was just like, oh my God! Come correct, Carlos. Yes,
I love
the rent
that.
is due. So,
Were you all
yeah.
like quintessential theater kids in high school, just out of curiosity? Was it like the quintessential? Oh wow.
I went to performing arts high school, so
Same.
I was like a big theater nerd
Okay.
from the start.
Yeah, from jump.
Yeah.
Yes, theater nerds,
Shout out
yes.
HSPVA from Houston, Texas, if anyone. Okay, no, okay. Anyway.
So your Nigerian parents were supportive of you doing theater. I love that for you. Wow.
Mike,
I
oh,
wish
yeah,
we
sorry,
could all
sorry.
say the same. My parents are watching.
Yes, they were so incredibly supportive. I think people. One of the great things about Jessie, you know, she's Yoruba. Her parents are Nigerian. I think that's such an important part of her story, because I think being first generation American, it really lends itself to having these conversations and what it means to be multicultural and what that's our world that we're living in. So hopefully people get to relate to that.
Yeah.
I went on a tangent, but I hope I.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough.
That was lovely. I love that for you. Oh, that's so excellent. That's so excellent. And so, lest we forget, Moses is Michael.
Oh, thank God. White guys, we cannot stand to be just not talking over everyone constantly. Thank you. One question. Let's go.
Okay, so you've been. I'm gonna let
How's
you
your
get yourself
leg?
together. Are you?
Is that better? Somehow worse.
You know, what intrigued you about Michael's character? Because when I saw Michael, I was like, oh, I know exactly who this is in my life. I was like, this is that one token white boy that I literally introduced is like, oh, this is my token white boy. He might say something, disclaimer, but he means very, very well. So
That is so fair. That's exactly what this is. And yeah, no, it was one, like, I was obviously a fan of Phoebe for the longest time. I would do the world's shittiest college gigs, and you have to fly, and you're out there for maybe 24 hours. And I would listen to not even the HBO thing, but just the podcast of Two Dope Queens.
Wait, you never told me this.
Yeah, okay, so I'm trying to make you cry and ruin this makeup job. Been told this costs $6,000. Yeah, it would really get me through. It's like an embarrassing sentence to say, but it really, it made me feel better about just improvising. It made me feel better about being in the moment, and was obviously always attracted to that style of humor. And I didn't know why I felt this connection with the writing on the Jonathan Groff side. And it's only much later, until after we already shot the pilot, that I found out that we had both worked for Conan O'Brien. And I can't explain it. If you ever run into a Conan O'Brien writer, everyone has this shared experience where you just click of this incredible work ethic where you mix the smartest stuff with the absolute stupidest shit imaginable. There's a character on Conan called FedEx Pope. And it was the connection of that, of like, I can't believe this is all clicking, and then only when I found these things out after, to like, oh, that makes sense. And then Phoebe was obviously someone I was like, oh, that'd be just great to meet her one day, let alone be able to, be in a scene with her. Was when I had a show at the Bell House that was like I could control whoever I want on the show, I invited her to do it, to come on the show and just like riff with her, basically just rip off Two Dope Queens, and it was a dream come true.
white man stealing
I
again. No, I'm
love
just
you.
kidding.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
but
Yeah.
That was sweet. Thank you so much.
I love that.
He's brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah.
And something that we discussed is just the importance of having these moments as like the group scenes. I'm curious, what was one of your favorite group scenes that you all have done?
There was one day that we shot, so I'm not giving too much away, but Jaden and Phoebe have a little bit of discord. Right. And so I'm sort of telling, Michael and Malika about what's going on. And I'm relaying the story. And sometimes when I just do, I just perform, I just will say things in such a, no one talks like that, but it just makes sense in the moment. And I was trying to just tell this story, and I kept breaking because I was talking like a moron, but it worked for the character in the moment, and it was like so, like literally was a half an hour of me not being able to get through the line. It was so fun.
It was the absolute best.
Yeah.
You just told that story perfectly. Word.
Forward.
So she would just say that, and everybody would just crack up. But that's not her only crack up line. Like, she did this to me. We had a scene where we're fighting in this episode,
yes.
and then she comes up to me, and she does this. I don't know. I'm gonna play it out. I don't care.
he's
But
out now.
she was mad at me. She gets in my chest, and she says she's not gonna pay for whatever she's done to my couch, and she goes, and I'm not gonna pay for your couch. Like that.
no, that's not good. Yeah, go.
You're right.
Okay. And I was just getting so close to him, breathing my hot breath on his face, and he was trying not to laugh, and it was so fun. I love fighting with you.
Yes.
It's so good. It's so
You're
good.
giggling the whole time.
Phoebe's repertoire of like crazy, angry walks in general. There's one in the episode you just saw where
Right.
she marches back to talk about.
Gal Gadot. She was like,
It's one of my favorites.
Yes. It is a walk, honey.
Well, the first time you came back, I was like, is she really coming back?
I'm committing.
Yes.
I'm committing to the
yes,
bit.
you commit to the bit. But I was like, we're rolling. And she's just like, dun, dun, dun.
With health
Like
insurance
the
and a
first time I
whole
had
life.
worn those shoes, and I like didn't want to wipe out, so like I was just like, meh, I'm gonna protect myself, and it was fun.
I'm crying. I'm certainly interested in following the evolution of that little friend triangle, especially like, will Michael ever get Malika's attention? I'm curious.
No.
Come on. Hear me out.
Never.
I wore a green
Listen,
suit like I'm
listen.
Indiana Jones speaking at a college. Hear me out.
Never. We will never say no to anything. So
We have
yes.
a funny
Yeah.
episode kind of middle of the season
Yeah.
where we explore some of the aspects of the love triangle, and there's a we think for a second Malika might have a moment of interest, but it's just a game. She's got something up her sleeve because she's got an eye on an X, and she's whatever. It's interesting. I will say to Kara, you never want to say never
Exactly.
in season
Oh,
two,
no, I'm
where
the-
all of a sudden it's like, wait, it's we're listening.
Kara not saying no.
At the
Malika's
heart,
saying no.
At the heart of
Let's be
things,
clear.
we're a rom-com.
Did everyone get that?
We're a rom-com, right?
Yeah.
At the heart of it, there's still a romantic comedy aspect, and you were there all along is always something.
Well, that's the fun part is that like she's like, I mean,
Probably
who,
no,
who
by the way.
isn't like flattered a little bit? But like, Malika, she plays that line of like, she's not really annoyed by it. It's flattering, but she's like,
Yeah, I mean, part of it is-
like keep going, but stop. But keep going, but shut up.
Like part of it is like you're an actual like theater actor, so you can actually get there. But the level that you've said no to me, in a real way, like it does, like that hurts. Like I've been shook the rest of the day. I'm like, maybe I should have 2 Diet Cokes. That'll make me feel better.
I think Michael gets a girlfriend in season 2, and all of a sudden Malika's like, "Hey, what happened?"
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, wait a minute.
Absolutely.
And that girlfriend is me.
Like, where my compliments go? Where my compliments go?
So messy.
He's dating Jesse. Okay, well, no.
Oh God.
I will fight you for her.
Yeah.
I will lose immediately, but I will fight you.
On a very special Everything's Trash.
I love that. Y'all are such a fun group. I guess, Jonathan, what does it mean to you to kind of be a showrunner and why Brooklyn, apart from staying true to Phoebe's journey, but what can we expect from this season?
Well, I will say Hamilton does not, as you can tell from the end of the pilot here, does not disappear. So that's going to be a thing we visit in various ways, in various twists and turns. Again, there's a romantic comedy aspect to the show that we love, and Phoebe and I are both fans of the genre. Phoebe probably even more than I am, is like a massive aficionado. We have a big romantic comedy episode where we actually comment on the genre and kind of get our characters caught up in that. That'll be a lot of fun. We track the election all season long. We're going to end episode 10 of our group of our season finale is election night. So that's cool. And and as a showrunner, it's just been I will say this, it's the joy as a writer, and Phoebe I think feels this because Phoebe and Jordan, by the way, was in our writer's room as one of our writers and hugely contributive to his character and to the entire series. But it is so fun as you start to get to know these actors, you go like, oh, right. Jesse could be Nigerian because that's something that Nneka Okafor could play authentically and honestly and in form. And then, or, she's also she does a hell of an Obama impression, which we found out in an episode, you know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. Or, you know, we have this thing where we get to learn that Malika is from Brooklyn and is both repelled by and also kind of secretly can't not enjoy hipster culture and the $12 lattes that are now available in her old neighborhood at the bodega where she used to buy her weed. Sorry to the 12-year-old.
This is mildly autobiographical.
So that kind of stuff. And like, you know, when we were talking about Michael's character originally, we didn't see Moses at first, like, you know, and then it was like, oh, wait, this is an entirely different take on it.
I still have yet to be paid for the show, and I want this public.
Moses, you in timeout.
Go sit in the corner.
Yeah.
You remember, like, we would see, like some of the people they would send to us were like kind of bro-y guys.
Bro-y and douchey, and we were like, this is not the energy.
Like kind of aggro white dudes, and I was like, well, that doesn't feel right. And then we found like this
most aggro guy that's super tough.
Exactly, super aggro, macho, overwhelmingly virile man. No, we found this kind of delightful weirdo who made sense that Phoebe would collect at age 19 and then have with her for the rest of her life. Her random white guy, you know what I mean? That makes sense in the world. So it's been really fun to have everybody inform their characters. And Jordan Jaden is wildly funny beyond our dreams because we have Jordan Carlos helping to write it and play it, you know? So he's not like just the uptight straight guy. He's like his own kind of mess in a funny way.
It's all that is true. And that's why I swam in the East River, and you guys can look out for that this season. Yeah, I love this show so much. I was like, I'm gonna dunk in some East River juice and live to tell the tale. You know, so who knows? Next season could be Gowanus Canal, everybody. Maybe Newton Creek by the end. Who knows? We'll just get grosser and grosser. I'm so sorry. All right.
Every body of water. Every body of water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Across New York. I love it.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a few questions from the audience that I have right here. So starting with you, Jonathan, somebody asked, you've had such a fantastic career with shows like Blackish.
Thank you. My wife is the one who submitted that question. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yes, I worked on Blackish. I helped. I was there almost from the beginning on that show. It was a great experience.
Oh, goodness. And what made you excited to bring Everything's Trash to audiences with Phoebe?
Well, really, Phoebe. Meeting her over Skype or FaceTime or whatever it was, that's how long ago it was pre-Zoom. Like, we didn't even know what Zoom was. It was 3 years ago, almost exactly. I watched Two Dope Queens. I read her books, which I highly recommend.
Yep.
Super funny, all of them. I read at the time first Everything's Trash, but it's okay. And it was just such a clear, funny voice and way of speaking and way of putting language and having fun with language and ideas and making sense out of our garbage culture and trying to, you know, have fun with it and comment on it and be part of the trash but above it and how to make sense of it all. And then, you know, this at the kernel of it was this mention of her brother, and I was like, we started talking. I was like, well, we gotta like. What do we care about? You know what I mean? And so that key relationship of when she started talking about her brother and how much she loves him and how different they are and we got, well, let's expand this and fictionalize this, and that felt really exciting because we hadn't seen, and I'll give credit to Freeform as a platform. They were the first ones in on the whole idea, and they were like, that sibling relationship, we want to see that. We haven't seen that. We don't have that. We don't know where else that is quite on TV. So let's do that. And so we leaned into that and then built the world out kind of around that. So that was just exciting to just develop. And then the Brooklyn piece was, we shot a pilot a year or so ago on a soundstage in Burbank, and it was good, and the cast was fantastic, same cast, but it was like, Freeform's reaction was like, this doesn't feel authentic. It's like, yeah, because, you know, it hadn't rained in 7 months when we shot it. You know what I mean? Like, it's L.A.
It was also very tan.
And everybody was super tan. It was weird. So they very wisely and I think smartly, like, you know, it's expensive to shoot in New York, but they're like, go make the show in New York. Put it in Phoebe's real world, and let's get all that on the screen and make it feel authentic. And I think you'll see that over the course of the episodes. So.
I love that. That's excellent. Excellent. So Phoebe. Y'all talked about Zoom pre-pandemic, right? So how did the pandemic change the context of the show versus essays, both written pre-pandemic, right? So how did you kind of adapt the content from the book prior to kind of the status of where we are now?
Can you rephrase the question?
Yeah. So this person is asking, if it did it all, how did the pandemic change the content of the show and the context versus the essays written in the original book that were pre-pandemic, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, it really didn't. We didn't. We don't need
the pandemic doesn't really exist on TV.
And I think like a lot of shows like want to tackle it. Like I remember watching and Just Like That when they were talking about characters who passed away from COVID. I'm like, I don't come to this show for that. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to see Carrie Bradshaw like tiptoe on cobblestones, not be like, you know what I mean? Being like, I don't know how to afford my apartment. And you're like, bitch, you're 50, figure it out. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like, come on. So, and we just were like, this is a show that we want to spread joy and bring laughter. And like, we're all living with this pandemic. Like, we don't need to like fictionalize and be like, so let's hear this story about the thing we all just lived. Like, so we just really wanted the show to sort of, be the foundation, be the book, and then we could just extrapolate. See, I can use big words even though I didn't go to Brown University.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan. He always brings up Brown, and you do too. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
But we just really wanted to build off of that world and have fun telling these stories and showing different kinds of blackness and having a show where, yes, Phoebe Hill is out there dating, but like her central drive isn't going to be like, where's my husband? Who's my partner? And like, we just want to explore other kinds of love outside of just romantic love. And so I think those are sort of the key tenets of what we wanted the show to be. And we were able to keep writing that during the
a cool thing
during the
about
panorama.
a cool thing in a way about nothing cool about the pandemic. It's totally uncool. But
hot take.
A
Jonathan
silver lining.
Groff. Hot take. Jonathan Groff thinks the pandemic is uncool.
Gotta go.
No, but we were able to do a thing that we wouldn't probably not have been able to do because of the way we constructed our writers' room, because we did it all virtual. Like, we had a couple of times where like Phoebe was in LA and she came over to my house and the writers who were in LA came over, but we got to have Jordan, who lives in Brooklyn, Khalees Hawkins, Devin Walker, Ray Sani. Half of our writing staff was in Manhattan, or it was in New York City, Brooklyn, and then half was in LA, and we wouldn't have been able to do that and take advantage of all of those voices, I don't think, because people would have been like, I can't move to LA, or I don't want to move to New York. So there was, I think other shows have found that too. It lets you bring in some voices that I think have made the show great. I think it's great. I think it's really good. And I think we got that partly because of that. We were able to do that, virtually.
Absolutely. And I'm curious for the cast, how did you all find out about each of your roles, and what was that moment like for each of you? You can recall.
I can like barely read or write, but that's a true thing. I haven't been to school, but so I was like skimming the email and I just saw Phoebe Robinson. And obviously, like I said before, I knew who that was, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll read more about this. And that's how I found out about it. I got an email from an agent and was excited to do it.
I love that.
Well, I've read all of her books, and so not to be a stalker, but I mean, I just have so much respect for her. And when I read the pilot, it felt so. For those of you who aren't aware or may be aware, pilot season is such an intense time of many, many months of just back to back auditions. Sometimes, scripts, you can read them and you can kind of see it's kind of half done or unfinished, and people are just trying to get it together so that you can film it in time to present to see if it'll go. And I read the script and I just instantly, I was so tired, but it literally lifted me out of my seat with laughter. My husband was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm having fun by myself in the living room, relax. But it was just so fun. I thought, I'm never gonna get this, but this will be fun. And so I auditioned, and one thing led to the next and led to the next. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did get it. And it's just, I mean, her writing, the writing of the show, the voice of the show just feels so fresh and genuine. And I think that all stems from Phoebe's voice and mining that voice and everybody just bringing it to life in such a effervescent way.
My experience was very similar. Email from my agent, and I remember I was super tired the night that I had to do my self-tape audition, and I went in the room, I kind of barricaded myself off from my partner, and I was like, oh, this is me. oh, this is 1,000% me. I'm not gonna get it, but it's me. So I was like, I came out the room. I was like, oh, let's do this. We about to have fun. I'm about to act a fool because this is 1,000% me. And I was already a huge fan from Two Dope Queens, and so I was like, the comedy was there. I was like, this is the comedy that I know from Phoebe Robinson, and I was like, it would be so much fun to actually work with her. Oh my God, what a dream! And then when I kept getting passed along the process, and my audition with her from day jump, from the moment we hit the screen together, it was like, hey girl, hey! It was like, it was instant fun. It felt familial. It felt right. And I was just like, well, when it was all over, I was like, well, I left it all on the table. I have nothing left to get. I don't regret anything. It was super fun. Congrats to whoever gets it. And then they called me.
Patted yourself on the back. I was like, oh.
And I have to say, for Jaden, I remember when we were working on it, we were doing character breakdowns, and I literally wrote, Jaden Hill, parenthetical, a Jordan Carlos type, like legit. Like I was like, this would be the guy, but who knows?
That still doesn't mean anything.
No, so basically, you were like the prototype. I was like, I wanted
I
you,
know.
but I was like, I know he's doing a million things.
No,
right?
no.
But
Yeah,
I
want
to be in someone else's show because you want to do your own thing.
But believe me, I wanted to be in your show. And like I was like, what I was trying to say was, even because New York is tough. Even if it says a Jordan Carlos type and your name is Jordan Carlos, they're like, I don't know, that's a pass for this guy.
Yeah.
They
I had
got
a
any other
friend-
Jordan Carlos types around here? So that's all I mean. That's all I mean. It was I knew that Phoebe had been writing this thing, and like because comics talk like in a knitting circle, and so I was like, ooh, this is the honey hush. We gonna do this now. I'm gonna get this. That's a Southern expression. All right. So anyway, I was circling as they. Ooh,
Why
as
was
they
my
say.
breakdown a Hillary Swank boys don't cry type? Time out.
Time out.
So
You're on time out.
I'm out.
So I was coming off of another role. And I was just like, if I don't have the confidence to do this now, then I will never get this. So then I just was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna embrace myself for 10 to 15 minutes and go back to hating myself. That's New York. And then I did it. It was great. It was fantastic. And Phoebe and I clicked because we're friends, and it was just like on, and I haven't looked back,
Aww.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you all. Thank you all so much for answering these questions, for spending time with us. Thank you all for being here tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
It is such a pleasure to watch the show, such a joy just to see all of your dreams come to fruition. I've been following you since I was in high school. I'm now 23, so full circle moment. I know. Okay, every time I reveal my age, it was like, here they go, okay.
She gone.
Get her out of here.
Moment.
Since high school?
Yes.
Phoebe, do you remember when the Challenger blew up?
By the way, she told us she
Yeah.
graduated high school 6 years ago. So it's, oh my God.
Well, y'all, anyway.
No, it's great. I'm glad that you told me. I am so happy to hear that. To know that my work crosses generations is, it's all I've ever wanted, So it feels great.
From the floor.
I
never telling anybody my age
love
again,
being
ever.
almost, 38, and it's great. Okay.
Yeah.
old
Let me
brittle
help you up. Let me help you up. Well, I'm never telling anybody my age again.
No, you were saying nice things. Continue. You've been listening to me since middle
okay.
school.
It's
Yes.
okay. But tell your friends. Tune in tomorrow at 10 p.m. on Freeform to watch this lovely show. And thank you all again. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep it going for